Now we're going to get started on building an actual professional looking website. It'll look sort of like this. Now if you look at this layout here, all of the text, all of the pictures, all of the colors, these are different things that you will be able to change to make it however you want. But for us to start though, this is a great format for just building our first website. Now, a couple of things you're going to need for this. First thing you'll need is a bunch of links that I have for you to bookmark. So what I've done is in the description of this video, I've linked to all of these websites here. What I recommend is making a folder on your bookmarks bar to bookmark all of these into, because you'll need them all at different times. And one website that web designers use an awful lot, just as a reference, is this W3 Schools website. So, little dirty secret here, web designers don't memorize every line of code. A lot of times, frequently, people need to look things up. So for example, if you come to the CSS reference and you need to know how to, let's see, one thing you would like to do is set a image border. I don't know, we can come to border style and it will tell us how to format different types of border styles. So this is something I can't really go into a whole lot on how to use this site. You'll just use it like a dictionary. You know, if you have a dictionary, you don't know how to spell a word, you go to the dictionary, you look it up. This here too, if you have something on your website you would like to do and you don't know how, you come to this W3 Schools and it will tell you how. So that's that. You just kind of have to learn how to use it on your own. So another thing too, if I want a background image on my website, I come here to background image and it will tell me how to put a background image on my website. It gives me a little more information about how all that is used. It tells me which browsers support what I'm trying to do. It gives me different properties and values that I can have. And this try it yourself. If I come here, well, I get to mess with the code here. Alright, so to start actually building our website now, the bookmark we're going to go to is this, the bookmark that says Bootstrap theme Simply Me. And it looks like this. And this is a step-by-step guide for building it. But we're going to start slightly different than how they have it here. So the first thing you need to start with is, if you look at my first video on how to go from brackets to making your website, we need to start with just the basic frame of our website already. So we need to start with our declaration, our HTML, our head, our title, our body, and then we need to have a CSS file that we have linked to. So make sure you have that before you go. Alright, so then to start with, what we'll do is we'll come down here. It says HTML start page. So you're going to compare what they have to what you have. And if you don't have something that they have, you need to add it. And you can copy and paste it. There's nothing wrong with copying and pasting. What is wrong is to copy and paste without knowing what it's doing. So every time you copy and paste something, take your time to really understand what is this code doing, because that's what will help you learn how to do this. So for example, I know that in my code I don't have this, and I know it goes between my declaration and my head. Oh, nope, it's just that opening HTML tag. I just need to add the English language part to it. So I can copy that. I'll come in here and paste that. Okay, what's next? I do have a title. It's something different than this, but that's okay. I don't have these two in my head, so I'm going to add them. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to do that before my link, and I'll tell you why later. Save that. And then in my body, I'm going to add all these three things. So I have an H3, I have an image source, I have another H3. So I'll add this in, I'll add that into my body, I like indenting things, and save. Okay, so let me come to my page now and see what that looks like. Alright, this is what I have so far. And look at this, this is a broken link. Well, the reason why that's a broken link is because this file is not in my folder. If I come into my website folder, there is no image file there. My code says to find bird.jpg. Bird.jpg is not there. That's why this picture doesn't work. So, how I'll fix that is I can come to Google Images and I'll just search for bird. You can search for whatever you want. I mean, it's your website. I like, oh, this is a cool picture. Let me take this one. So I'm going to get this picture. I will right click and save image as. I'll go into my website folder. There's my website. And just as a little exercise, I'm going to call it Hummingbird. And I'll tell you why. Alright, so in my website folder now, I have hummingbird.jpg. If I want that picture to come up, then I need to change this to hummingbird.jpg. I'll save that, come back to my website, and boom, there it is. Kind of big, but we'll worry about that later. Okay, so then I come back to here. The next thing says add bootstrap CDN and put elements in container. All right, woo, what is that? Let's talk about bootstrap. Bootstrap is a set of pre-made CSS that we can link to and allows us to make our websites look good without doing a lot of work ourselves. So we like that. CDN stands for Content Delivery Network. What that means is that we don't have to download Bootstrap and put that in our folder. We can link to it on another website. So these right here, this link, that script, and that script, this is all being hosted on another website, which saves us work. We don't have to download it. We don't have to host it ourselves. And then the elements in the container, so I put elements in container, that is this right here. I'll explain that in a second. So let's add in the Bootstrap CDN. So that's this link and then two scripts right there. I can copy them. However, we already have a link to our CSS. You need to make sure that your link is the last link in the head. So as I do Control V to paste, here's the link to Bootstrap. That comes in before the link to my CSS. The reason why is if at any time I have something different in my CSS than what is listed in the Bootstrap CSS, your browser needs to know which one to choose. And it will choose whichever one comes last. You will never make any changes to the Bootstrap CSS. In fact, you can't because it's not actually on your site. It's being delivered through here. But if you did, don't make any changes to Bootstrap. Only make changes to yours. And that'll be okay because yours is listed last. Yours is the one that'll take priority. Okay, so there's that. I save it. Now, we need to put our elements in our container. All that is, so we put in a div. We give that div a class. And this class is pointing to a CSS class that is in our Bootstrap. So, just container-fluid. I'm going to type this one out instead of copying and pasting. I find that if I type it out, I learn it a little bit better. So, I'm going to come here, I'm going to do div class equals container-fluid. Spelling is important. Make sure you get it absolutely right. And I've opened my class. My h3 is a part of my class, so I'm indenting that further. My image source is a part of my class. My h3 there is a part of that class. Okay? And then I come and I close my div. All right, save that. Come back. Refresh. Okay, I see slight changes here. These slight changes are because of what is in our Bootstrap CSS. We'll look at that more in a little bit. Okay, what's my next thing to do? Add background color and center your text. All right, this is kind of an important thing here. This is CSS, right? They put it between style tags. You can put CSS in an HTML document by putting it between style tags. It would look like this. Don't do this, by the way. I'm just showing you an example. So I do Control-C to copy. I'm going to come in before my body, and I have style tags. And there's my style tags, and I can put CSS in there. Don't do that. Instead, take anything that you would see between the style tags and put that into your CSS file. You do not need the style tags, just the stuff in between the style tags. Okay, so I have this in. This points to, so we have .bg1, that's a class. We don't have bg1 in here yet, so we're going to have to make that change. Let's see. Come here. All right. We already added this div, but now we need to add two classes to that div. We already have, let's see, does it say container fluid? Yes, container fluid. So we need to add two more classes to it, bg1 and text-center. This we're putting in our CSS. This is already in the Bootstrap CSS. All right, so I'm coming to container fluid, bg-1, text-center. Okay, save my index, save my style, come back to my website, and check that out. Now let's look at this. I have my green background. Let's say I don't want my green background. All right, this is something I really like. One other thing I had you bookmark was this color wheel. So if I come to this color wheel, it helps me create color schemes for my website. So I'm going to do complementary colors. No, let's do triad, just because. And I want a version of blue. So I'm going to drag my blue here. All right. Now I want this blue. So that's this color here. Here is my hex code, 737BB2. So I'll come back here and I'll change this to hashtag 737BB2. I can get rid of that note. I don't need it anymore. Save my CSS file, switch back, and boom, I like that better. Okay. So, that's how to get started. That's how to get started. At this point, you're going to continue going through this website and following the different steps, and at the end, you should have a website that looks pretty good. When you're done with it, modify it however you want to. Modify the colors, modify the pictures, modify the text. That would look pretty good. Feel free to ask me any questions you need as we go.